Carlos here. Today I'm doing my top 10 bucket list US coasters. This isn't coasters overall, this is just US coasters that I really want to ride at some point. So yeah, I really do want to ride all of these, and I think I will ride most of them at some point. So let's get into this list. Number 10. Superman the Ride. Now, the reason this is on here instead of Wicked Cyclone is because I think I would prefer this to Wicked Cyclone because of its style of airtime. While I love RMC airtime, I am more of a floater kind of person. I love the slow feeling of getting floated out of your seat for extended periods of time instead of just getting whipped out of your seat like how Ejector is. While Wicked Cyclone looks like one of the best RMCs, I think Superman the Ride looks like the slightly better ride. So, on to the next coaster. Number 9. Jersey Devil at Six Flags Great Adventure. This coaster looks to have some of the strongest ejector air and some of the most whippy parts of any coaster. Like, seriously, this coaster looks incredible. The ejector looks insane, and it looks to be insanely whippy and perfectly paced. Judging by the animation, the mid-course does not really slow you down, and the ejector looks all out of your seat, and it just looks incredibly outstanding. And this coaster is not open yet, but it has gone vertical, and I just cannot wait for this ride. So, on to the next coaster. Number 8. Sky Rush at Hershey Park. The reason this isn't as high on the list as you may expect is because of the restraints. I have heard that this ride has terrible restraints and that it could ruin the ride for people, so I'm a bit skeptical of if I would actually like this ride because I hear the restraints are terrible, but this coaster looks intense, fun, and filled with ejector airtime. So there's not really much to say about this coaster, as it's kind of like a miniature Intimidator 305, which is, spoiler alert, higher on this list. So, on to the next coaster. Number 7. The Voyage at Holiday World. This coaster looks like my kind of coaster. It's a wooden coaster. It has tons of floater airtime. Looks to have some ejector moments. Looks to have some awesome high-speed turns at the end. This coaster just looks like my kind of coaster. It's also a very long ride, which I also do like. Length really matters to me, which is, again, one of the reasons the two RMCs aren't my number 1, and why Raging Bull is my number 1, because it's a long ride. But this coaster looks insane with its length. So, on to the next coaster. Number 6. Orion at Kings Island. When I first was making this list, this was all the way at like number 3, but it got bumped down to number 6 as other better coasters got added to this list. This looks like an awesome Giga, and the reason it's not Fury is because there is still a chance I might be able to ride Fury, so it is not being put on this list. This looks like a fast-paced, awesome coaster. So, on to the next coaster. Number 5. Lightning Rod at Dollywood. This is like one of the best RMCs by far. It looks full of ejector airtime, and it looks to have a very few floater moments, but it has some strong floater, like it looks like the wave turn would have some nice floater. But this ride looks madness. It's fast, it's furious, and when it opened, it looked even better because of before they slowed down the launch. The launch has been slowed down the past couple years, but this coaster, even with the slower launch, looks amazing. So, on to the next coaster. Number 4. X2 at Six Flags Magic Mountain. If you remember correctly, Jamaica was on my bucket list coasters outside of North America, and this is of course on my bucket list in North America. Because X2, just like Jamaica, looks frickin' insane. Even though Jamaica is clearly the better looking ride, this ride still looks nuts. This is easily a bucket list coaster, and I would absolutely love to ride this someday. So, on to the next coaster. Number 3. El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. This might look like to have the strongest airtime of any coaster in existence. This airtime looks so strong. Looks like you just get ejected, and it's like sustained ejector, not floater. You just like get flung up, down. It just looks so amazing. And the Rolling Thunder Hill might be the best airtime moment on any coaster in the world. I just really want to get on El Toro someday, because it just looks absolutely incredible. So, on to the next coaster. Number 2. Intimidator 305 at King's Dominion. Now this looks like the most intense coaster on Earth. It looks like Skyrush on steroids, kind of like how I said Skyrush looks like a mini Intimidator 305. This coaster just looks insane. The airtime looks like awesome. The turns look awesome. It pulls 4.5 Gs. This coaster looks amazing. And I love how after that massive drop, you just get flung into a super tight turn. It just looks like an amazing coaster. So, on to my number 1 bucket list coaster in the U.S. Number 1. Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point. What else would it be? This looks like the second best coaster in the world, just under Zadra. This coaster looks insane. Looks to have some of the best airtime in the world. In fact, it has the most airtime in the world. This coaster looks freaking insane. Looks to have floater, ejector, intensity, 11 versions. This just looks like my kind of coaster. This coaster is definitely my most anticipated U.S. bucket list coaster, and I would love to ride this someday and just go to Cedar Point in general. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and please subscribe, everybody!